Welcome to TV Africa News. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nnamdi Kanu, but first are the headlines. Court orders for the arrest of Kakwenza's sureties. The Electoral Commission to display lists of verified administrative units from April 11th to 13th. We will never again close education institutes due to pandemics, says the government. In a sports news today, Kataka overcome Deja University to keep promotion dream alive. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. The Buganda Road Chief Magistrates Court has ordered the arrest of the sureties for exiled novelist Kakwenza Duchira Bashaija. Now, if the sureties appear in court with the bail money totaling to 10 million shillings each, their obligation as sureties will be discharged and the arrest warrant cancelled. We have the details.
The court in January granted bail to Kakwenza after presenting 4 people, including National Unity Platform Secretary General Lewis Lubongoya, lawyer Julius Galisonga, Anna Ashaba, a teacher at Kolo Secondary School, and Job Kija. However, Kakwenza would later flee the country into exile in Germany, where he is receiving treatment for wounds inflicted on him while in security detention. Last week, court issued criminal summons to the 4 sureties to appear today to show cause for not bringing Kakwenza to court. However, on Monday, Chief Magistrate Douglas Singwiza issued arrest warrants for all the 4 sureties. Earlier, the state prosecutor, Joan Keko, had asked court to force the 4 sureties to forfeit the 10 million shillings bail money each had been asked to pay as bond, or they show cause as to why the court should not order their arrest. However, in his ruling, the Buganda Road Chief Magistrate said what the lawyers were asking for is akin to trying to stop water under the bridge. According to the charge sheet, on December 24, 2021, Kakwenza Rukira Bashaija in Kampala district willfully and repeatedly used his Twitter handle to disturb the peace of His Excellency the President of Uganda, General Yoweri Museveni, and the Commander of Land Forces, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, with no purpose of legitimate communication. Kakwenza, however, said he would never return to court, citing biasness by the trial magistrate Douglas Singwiza.
Away from that, in preparation for the conduct of the women councils and committee elections from the village to the national level in 2022, the Electoral Commission conducted an exercise to verify and confirm administrative units of villages, cells, and parishes, wards countrywide.
According instruments are included on the list. He said any objection against the inclusion or omission of an administrative unit in the village or parish shall be raised to the respective district or city returning officer through the division or sub-county supervisor using the forms provided by the EC. After the display exercise, Bukenya said the commission will produce the final list of administrators.
Moving on, in the top stories, the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Muyengo, has said that the Ugandan government will never again close education institutes due to a pandemic like it happened previously. Now, Uganda made the record for closing its education institutes for close to 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We have the details.
Speaking while in South Africa, where he toured the Hawaii exhibition hall for the Smart Education Solutions for East Africa, Muyengo said government has learned lessons and it will never repeat the same mistake. Muyengo said the coronavirus pandemic presented the education sector with profound challenges, especially within developing countries, where in Uganda alone, 15 million learners were out of school for 2 years. He added that it was a big lesson learned which the country is now aggressively addressing through a digital agenda strategy. Minister Muyengo, who represented the Ugandan government, applauded Hawaii for supporting the digitalization efforts in the country, more so the education sector. He noted that the Ugandan government is committed to upscaling and mainstreaming ICT in the delivery of education as a measure to facilitate not only improved delivery and make continued learning more interesting. He noted that the Ugandan government is committed to upscaling and mainstreaming ICT in the delivery of education as a measure to facilitate not only improved delivery and make continued learning more interesting, but also prepare for any eventualities in the future. According to Muyingo, the Education Ministry is working with the National Council for Higher Education and the institutions of higher learning to accredit technology initiatives for long-distance learning and smart education solutions.
Thank you so much, our reporter. We take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In our international news, Guinea's ruling junta has given foreign companies until the end of May to submit proposals in a timetable for the construction of bauxite refineries. Now, Nnamdi Kanu, in a meeting with stakeholders in Conakry, asked that the industrialists ensure this was done before the end of May and that all raw materials used in the manufacturing process be produced locally. We have the details.
Nnamdi Kanu, in a meeting with stakeholders in Conakry, said that despite the mining boom in bauxite sector, they have to admit that the expected revenues are below expectations, adding that they cannot continue this game of fools that perpetuates great inequality in their relations. The junta head also warned that foreign companies that violate the refinery construction deadlines will be penalized. With an estimated 7.4 billion tons, Guinea has the world's largest reserves of bauxite, a mineral used in the manufacture of aluminium, which is essential for the automotive and food industries. It is also the second largest producer. China imports about half of its bauxite needs from Guinea. However, the benefits of Guinea from bauxite mining and other abundant natural resources such as iron, gold, and diamonds are notoriously disproportionate. Experts cite insufficient investment, lack of essential infrastructure such as roads, and rampant corruption as factors that have hindered growth.
Moving on, in international news, deposed Guinean President Alpha Conde returned to Conakry on Friday afternoon after medical treatment in the United Arab Emirates, according to a statement by the transitional government read on state television. Now, the statement read that former president will remain in Guinea as long as his health allows. His integrity and dignity will always be respected in accordance with his rank and status. Take a look at the story.
A Guinean Foreign Affairs document indicates that it was the authorities in Conakry who asked for his return following the broadcast in March of a recording attributed to the former head of state from the Emirates. The recording spoke of the need for Mr. Conde's party to get into battle in anticipation of a serious deterioration in Guinea. For the Minister of Foreign Affairs, these actions constitute a threat to the peace and stability of Guinea and violate the terms of a commitment by ECOWAS to guarantee the former president. Meanwhile, a coalition that has fought Conde for months has now urged the ruling junta to immediately open the trial of the former head of state after his return from abroad. This collective has orchestrated months of mobilization in 2019 and 2020 against a third term of Alpha Conde. The protest, which was brutally repressed several times, left dozens of civilians dead but did not prevent the re-inauguration of Alpha Conde in December 2020. The 84-year-old Alpha Conde left the country in mid-January for medical examinations. His party, the Rassemblement du People de Guinée, said in a statement that it would continue to work for his complete release and would submit a request for a visit in the coming days. At the head of the country for nearly 11 years, he was overthrown on September 5, 2021 by Nnamdi, who has since become president of the republic.
Away from that, a UN Security Council request for independent investigations into the alleged Mora massacre in Mali has been blocked by Russia. Now, the request was contained in a statement drafted by France and submitted to the Security Council for approval on Friday. Russia, blocked by China, opposed it, according to several diplomats. We have the details. The proposed statement to the Security Council underlined the deep concern of its members at the allegations of human rights violations and abuses in Mali, in particular those perpetrated against civilians in Mora in the Mopti region from 27 to 31 March 2022. The draft text called the thorough and independent investigations to establish the facts, find those responsible for these violations and abuses, and bring them to justice. In a statement Friday in Moscow, the Russian Foreign Ministry congratulated Mali on an important victory against terrorism and described as disinformation allegations about the massacre of civilians by Malian forces, as well as those about the involvement of Russian mercenaries from the private company Wagner in the operation. One of these diplomats, on condition of anonymity, said that Moscow and Beijing did not see the need for this text, considered premature, while an investigation has been opened by the Malian authorities. In a report, the NGO Human Rights Watch reported the summary execution of 300 civilians by Malian soldiers associated with foreign fighters between March 27th and 31st in Mor. Moving on, more than half of the charges against Nigerian separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu have been dismissed. A High Court Judge Justice Binta Nyako on Friday in the capital Abuja struck out 8 of the 15 counts filed against Kanu, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. Mr. Kanu was accused of various offenses in the 15 counts, including treasonable felony and terrorism, offenses he allegedly committed in the course of his separatist campaigns. He had pleaded not guilty to all the 15 amended charges. His group IPOB wants a breakaway state in southeast Nigeria where mainly Igbo people live. Initially arrested in 2015, Kanu fled the West African nation in 2017 while out on bail. He was captured abroad in the June 2021 and repatriated, which his lawyers have argued breaches international law. But in a separate ruling on Friday, the court validated the government's repatriation of Kanu from Kenya to face the charges pending against him in Nigeria. The 50-year-old has been held in solitary confinement in the custody of the Nigerian Secret Police since then. A new hearing is scheduled for 18th May. Africa Today takes a quick break. She'll come back with business, health, and sports. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In our business news today, the Democratic Republic of Congo is officially the East African country's 7th member, and this after Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi formally signed the treaty to join the community during his visit to Kenya.
For this occasion, both President Uhuru Kenyatta, the current chair of the bloc, and the Congolese leader addressed messages of unity. Felix Tshisekedi, DR Congo president, said that by joining the community, the Congolese people do not only want to be satisfied with the benefits of intra-community trade, but they aspire first and foremost to maintain relations based on peace and security for all. While Uhuru Kenyatta, president of Kenya and current chair of the EAC, stressed that this addition would strengthen their economic muscle and competitiveness in the continent and as well as globally. Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, and now the DRC are part of the East African community. Kinshasa applied for the membership in 2019 and counts on this integration to give him access to better trade deals in the region and free movement of people within the community. Kenya's president said that DRC's admission means the bloc counts for about 300 million people and a GDP of around $250 billion. DR Congo has vast mineral wealth, including diamonds, gold, copper, cobalt, as well as other resources, but is undergoing a conflict in the eastern part of its country. The newcomer also opens a corridor from the Indian Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean.
In a health news today, Rwanda has become one of the few African countries to achieve the goal of vaccinating over 60% of its population against COVID-19. By the end of 2021, the East African nation had already administered vaccine doses to more than 40% of its 12 million citizens, a number that reached the World Health Organization's target for this period. The country's vaccination rate comes behind the small island nations Seychelles and Mauritius. To continue this trend, authorities in the capital Kigali have set up vaccination sites in busy public places like bus stations. Medical staff say between 200 and 400 residents receive jabs each day, and many of them have already registered for booster shots. Rwanda remains unexceptional as, according to the World Health Organization, about 15% of the continent's population is fully vaccinated. The study finds that true infections on the continent were 97 times larger than reported confirmed cases. In a sports news today, Kataka FC brightened their chances of earning promotion to Uganda Premier League after overcoming Deja University FC at the Arena of Visions on Sunday. Now their remaining two fixtures will come at home to fellow promotion contenders Chetome FC and Blacks Power FC. Take a look at the details. With the FIFA Big League hitting the climax, every result matters for the promotion-chasing group consisting of 4 teams, including Kataka FC, Blacks Power FC, Chetome FC, and Maroons FC. The Mbali-based side was able to secure a 2-0 win thanks to Hassan Wandega and Swamadu in the 8th half. Wandega opened the scores in the 14th minute before Okar dabbed the advantage in the second half. The win took Kataka top of the table on 35 points, leading second-placed Blacks Power, who drew 2-2 at Prolin on goal difference. Both Kataka and Blacks Power have a goal difference of 16, but the former have scored 33 goals, one better than the other. Chetome FC, who thumped Nyamitobora FC 6-0 in Mbarara, follow closely in the 3rd place on 34 points, while Maroons FC in 4th had 32 points. Well, thank you so much for being a loyal audience from where we started from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.